part of today's celebration will be cake afterwards, and this cake was brought by the PTO for our after program refreshment time. There,
It looks cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Doesn't it look smaller than last?
And I'm Tabitha Cross. We are here today to celebrate the culmination ceremony of the D.A.R.E Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program.
It is presented by the Detroit Police Department and the Detroit Board of Education.
To open our program, I would like to introduce John Tatum and Christy Clore to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To introduce our caring and dedicated principal, Dr. Robert Solari.
On behalf of the students and staff at Carver, I would like to welcome parents, distinguished guests, to the second annual D.A.R.E graduation. Drug education is so very important, especially these days when drugs are creating such a problem in our society. And I was so happy last year when we were able to become one of the first schools in Detroit to have students enrolled in the program. As always, we need parents to help and to support us. And Carver parents are great at that. We always get great support from you. So thank you very much, and keep supporting us. We need your help.
I'm happy to introduce another person who is dedicated to Carver students, Mrs. Judith LeBlanc, PTO President.
I'd also like to welcome all of you this morning. We're awfully glad that you could take time today to come and honor these students who have worked so hard over the 28 weeks. How many weeks have been over? 17 weeks. I just wanted to say a couple things. Because we've had D.A.R.E in the school for the last 2 years, it's made me think a lot about drugs, and you can't live in this city and not know the war that we're in. And I look at all of you, and you're warriors. You're out there. You're going to be out there. And all of us, as a whole nation, have to decide that we're not going to have drugs anymore. We're not going to say it's okay. I think that we're all aware now of alcohol more than we ever were before. These are decisions you're going to have to make every day. It's not going to be just while you're in school. It's once you're an adult, you're going to have to be deciding whether you're going to drink or smoke a joint or have a beer or whatever it is. It's something that all of us, even as adults, have to deal with. So this education early on, I hope you'll remember parts of it, all of it, as you go forward in life. We wish you all the best, and good luck. Thank you.
For our invocation, I would like to introduce our counselor, Wilhelmina Phibbs.
Good morning. Our police chaplain hasn't shown up as of yet, so I've been asked to do the prayer this morning. Shall we bow our heads? Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this opportunity to be here. We thank you for allowing the boys and girls at Carver School to go through the D.A.R.E program. We ask a special blessing upon each one of them. We ask you to remind them of the information that they received in this program, help it to work in their lives in a special way, and also in the lives of all the families that are represented here today. We ask a special blessing for Carver School, and we thank you for all these blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Representing Inspector David Simmons, Commanding Officer of the Detroit Police Crime Prevention Section is Lieutenant Madeline Mukowski.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm here representing Inspector David Simmons. He wanted me to tell you that he's sorry he could not be here today. He had to attend to some department business. But on behalf of the Detroit Police Department, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to the D.A.R.E students. You've accomplished something that a lot of kids in Detroit will not ever accomplish. You've made history today. You're part of the second D.A.R.E graduation for Carver School, and I want to congratulate you on that. Also, I must tell you that I'm really impressed today. I've been to a few D.A.R.E graduations, and I have to tell you that you've made history in another way. I've never seen so many parents at a D.A.R.E graduation, and I must tell you that you should be commended for that. And I'd like to thank you for appearing today, to showing your support for the children, and also for the program. You have to be commended. Also, on behalf of the Detroit Police Department, I'd like to thank Carver School. I'd like to thank your principal, Dr. Solari, for being supportive of the program, because without him, Officer Captor would not be here, and the D.A.R.E program would not be in your school. So I'd like to thank the principal, Mr. Solari, for your support for the second year. We hope that we'll be in your school also next year for the third annual D.A.R.E graduation, but that is yet to be seen. Getting back to the D.A.R.E program, as you know, it's a 17-week intensive program. Officer Captor has been doing a great job here with the students. He's reported back to the section and has told us how well each and every one of the students has done in the program. Each week he comes to the school and he teaches them a different way, either to say no, or about peer pressure, about alcohol, and about the different drugs and how to say no, and about peer pressure. What I'd like to stress today is that the D.A.R.E program is also about choices and about making decisions. And that's something that you can be given the tools, which Officer Captor has given you, but the bottom line is, now it's going to be up to you. You've gone through the 17 weeks of training. Now it's going to be up to you whether or not you can resist the pressure that's going to be out there. Hopefully, with the education and knowledge that he's given you, and that everything that you've learned, that you'll be able to say no. And I want you to know that your support system is here. We're here for you if you have any kind of problems. If you look around and see all the parents here, they're here for you also. Everybody up on here on the stage is in support of you also. This is your support system. It's not going to be easy. Nobody will ever tell you that it's going to be easy, because you're going to have decisions and choices now every day of your life, and it never stops. So I just want to let you know that we're here for you. If you ever need anything, that we're here to help you. Once again, I'd like to say congratulations, good luck in the future, and just remember, you can do it. Thank you.
A member of the 1968 World Champion Detroit Tigers, holder of a record of 31 wins during the regular baseball season, accomplished keyboard player and organist, talk show host on WXYT Radio, 1270 on the AM dial from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. weekday mornings. Our guest speaker, Mr. Denny McClain.
Thank you very much. That was very good. You read it just the way I told you to. Let me get this up a little bit. I, first of all, want to thank you for inviting me here. First of all, I do a lot of this, and I speak to a lot of schools, and I do an awful lot of work with the Boysville organization that handles youths that have gone astray. And as a matter of fact, as we speak, there are hundreds and hundreds of them in custody. And by that I mean they wake up every morning at 6 o'clock and are told what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. They don't have any control of their own lives, and hopefully by the time they're 18 or 19 years old, they'll get their lives in order. The repeat factor of people doing something again a second time, despite the fact getting caught at 12, 13, 14 years old, is horrendous. They say about almost 8 out of every 10 children who commit criminal acts between the ages of 12 to 17 do it again as soon as they get out. And that's a horrible figure. But I want to congratulate something that I noticed here that someone's already pointed out. The number of parents here. I want to tell you something. I congratulate you for showing up here at 10:15 in the morning. It is terrific. The number of schools that I attend, the number of other organizations that I speak to, I have never seen this many parents in an audience, and I applaud you. It is terrific. Because if we don't start caring about these kids, apparently if we believe what all of the so-called experts say, we're losing a generation, maybe 2 generations of children. And maybe somewhere along the line, if those parents had stayed involved, and this is not to blame all of the parents for all of the problems, but maybe if those parents had stayed in place and maybe got a little tougher with whatever form they chose, that in fact maybe we wouldn't lose the generation that the experts are saying, because you are to be applauded. It's terrific. Secondly, all you kids who are graduating in the D.A.R.E program, I think you need to applaud yourself, you know? And let me tell you something, the fight is just starting. The fight starts today. Every day for the rest of your life, someone will test you. Someone will ask you to do something stupid. Someone will say, well, let's just do that. No one will see us. Mom and Dad won't find out. And most of us know whenever we screw up, Mom and Dad always find out, don't they? Isn't it unbelievable? I mean, isn't it unbelievable how Mom and Dad know when you've done something wrong? And think about this. We may do a lot of things wrong in our life, and maybe you're shaking your head a lot, aren't you? You look like trouble, right there. But isn't it unbelievable how, no matter how we do it, it always comes back to haunt us? No matter what we do in life, there are many things you can do. You can steal from each other, you can do drugs, you can beat somebody over the head, but it only affects you to a minimal amount. Sure, if you do something so serious that they're going to put you in jail for, it isn't you who's affected. Oh, you're removed from society and maybe you should be. You're away from everybody else, so you can't influence other people. But you know who it really bothers? You know who it affects the most? Your mom and dad. They have to live with the shame. They have to live with the problems. If you go to jail, you wind up in Boysville, you wind up in some type of reformatory, Mom and Dad, your brothers and sisters, your aunts and uncles, they're the ones that have to deal with the guilt and the shame every day. If you want to do that to your mom and dad, then you should go out on Southfield Freeway and jump in front of a truck. Because nobody deserves that kind of grief, that kind of shame, that kind of problem. Now let me tell you, I was in jail. I was in jail 30 months. And I wasn't in a country club. I was in some serious places. And I'm going to take, they told me I only had 10 minutes, but this story is worth telling. And it may take more than 10 or 15 minutes. I was in a federal prison system. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia was the pigsty of America, and still is as we speak. When I went there, there were 2,300 people in a facility that was built for 900 men. So it was almost 2.5 times the population it was designed for. Out of these 2,200 people that were there, 2,050 of them were Cuban. The 2,050 Cubans were, if you recall the boat lift with Jimmy Carter in 1979, 1980, they allowed, the United States of America, when Jimmy Carter was president, allowed about 150,000 Cubans to emigrate into the United States. They were trying to find a better way of life. They were trying to find their freedoms. They were trying to be able to pursue life, liberty, and happiness as we know it in this country. They didn't have that in Cuba. Now, when they allowed all of these Cubans to come over here, Fidel Castro is not a dummy. He's not stupid. You can't run a country for 25 years, almost 30 years the way he has, and be stupid. What he did, he figured, well, if they're going to take 150,000 people, my citizens who want to leave here, what I'll do is I'll empty all my mental institutions, all my crazy people, and I'll empty all of my jails and get rid of all my criminals. So in that 150,000 people, there were about 10,000 criminals and people mentally ill. Castro was no dummy. He didn't have the expense. He didn't have to pay for them anymore. Could empty his jails. Well, lo and behold, the same criminals in Cuba, for the most part, became criminals over here. They beat up old ladies, they robbed, they stole cars, they did bank robberies, they did everything. The Atlanta Penitentiary was the home to these 2,000 Cubans. Most of these Cubans in the Cuban jail were in jail from the time they were 13 or 14 years old. Now, why do I tell you this story? In the United States, we have a picture that children don't go to jail. And I want to tell you something. They do. When I went to Atlanta Penitentiary, and I was there for quite some time, the second week I was there, a young boy from Orlando, Florida, came in. He was 17. How old are you? 10? That's just 6 or 7 years down the road. At the age of 15, almost 15, 14 and a half, his name was Johnny Leggio. He had a buddy by the name of Billy. Johnny and Billy, while they were in high school, decided they were going to sample drugs. They were going to do a little marijuana, they were going to do a little cocaine, they were going to do all of these things. And they were having a terrific time doing it. Got a little high, all of a sudden they had already had the alcohol problem, so they were going to continue to do that too. So they were doing all three, having a terrific time. Stealing from their mom and dad, stealing from their friends, stealing from the lockers in the school, stealing everything they could get their hands on just to support their cocaine, marijuana, and booze problem at the age of 15. This went on. They were petty thieves until they were about 16 and a half. All of a sudden they decided, well, we need more money. I mean, this crack cocaine's pretty good every day, and this marijuana is pretty good, and then the scotch liquor and the beer, it's terrific stuff. But we need more money to support this. So they decided they were going to rob banks, because apparently that's where the money is, in the banks. So they decided they got themselves a couple of guns, and John would be the guy that walked into the bank with the ski mask on, and Billy would drive the car, and Billy would sit out in the parking lot waiting for John to come out. So the first bank in Orlando, Florida, they walked in and robbed, and they made off with about $8,000. Second bank, about a week later, because the $8,000, now that they had money and they had access to it, the $8,000 wasn't going to last very long. They were buying the booze and the drugs, and they were going out every night with the girls and just having a terrific time. Buying all kinds of wristwatches and clothes, and they were really having a party. About 8 days later, they decided to do it again. And they robbed the bank, this time at Daytona Beach. They robbed it of $17,000. I mean, this is easier than anything they've ever done in their life. they go down to the Fort Lauderdale area to rob their third bank. In banks, they have what they call bait money. And the bait money is underneath the money that the tellers use all day long. This bait money has a chemical on it. And once somebody goes outside the bank with this money, it explodes in their face or on their hands. It's a color, it's a dye. You really can't get it off very easily. John goes into the bank. Billy's sitting out in the car. He goes in there and something goes wrong inside. He's got this gun out. And he's going to shoot the first person that moves. And the girl throws the money at him, gives him all the money. He picks it up. Now he's got this gun in his hand. And he goes flying out the door. And he's picked up the bait money. And it explodes in his face. He's got the ski mask on. And it's blinded him momentarily. Billy in the car, his pal, his best buddy, a guy who said he would die for him, sees John having a problem and leaves. Leaves John standing in the hallway of the bank. That's how good of friends they were. John somehow, through some kind of grace, gets out of there anyway, half being able to see, runs down the street and disappears. Now they're both okay, but they can't find each other. Billy, his buddy, decides, I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving the state of Florida. Florida's tough. I'm getting in this car, and I'm leaving. So he gets in the car, and he's leaving Orlando. That's where he went back to his home. Driving the car out of town, runs a red light, because he's so nervous. He's not even... So the cops pull him over. Drag him out of the car, and they said, can we see your driver's license? And the guy says, I don't have one on me. He says, I need a driver's license, otherwise I've got to take you downtown. He says, listen, don't take me downtown. I'll tell you who's been robbing all these banks. He says, you're going to, what banks? He says, I stopped you because you ran a red light. He says, but I want to tell you who's robbing the banks. I don't want to go to jail. I know what they do to kids in jail. He said, wait a minute. He says, what banks are you talking about? He says, well, we robbed a couple of banks. He said, this guy Johnny Leggio robbed some banks. He said, is it we or is it Johnny? He said, well, Johnny planned all the banks, and I just drove the car. Before he got into the back of the squad car, Johnny's best friend told him all about what Johnny had supposedly planned. They take him down to the police station, they book him, and they let him go. Walks out that day. Now here's a kid with a terrible crack cocaine addiction, marijuana, booze, everything in life that we don't want to have anything to do with. This kid, and they don't know he's got a bad drug problem. So he walks out. He gives up John. They do composites. They get pictures. They do everything there is to do to catch Johnny Leggio. John finds out 3 or 4 days later what his buddy has done. John turns himself into the police department. He says, here I am. Now they lock up John because John supposedly, and did, had a gun. So they keep him in custody. What eventually happens is that John pleads guilty. They don't charge the other kid with anything. Nothing. Of course, that's the way the system works. It may not be totally complete, but that's the system we have in place. They don't charge him with anything. He walks. John gets 9 years in federal prison. And he just turned 17. Where do you think they send him? Atlanta, Georgia, with 2,000 Cuban criminals. These Cuban criminals don't know anything about girls. They've been locked up since they've been 12, 13, and 14 years old. So when John walks in, what happens? They grab John and they make John their favorite little boy. For 3 weeks, they beat him up, they violate him, they beat him up, they violate him 40 or 50 times in 3 weeks. About 200 Cubans went through a 17-year-old boy. I am pleased to report 2 things. Number 1, John is now out, free. He's got his drug problem cleaned up, and he's walking the streets as we speak. He's got a good job down in South Florida. He's now 20, he did 4 years, so he's about 21, 22 years old now. And the other kid, who we all thought was so lucky because he walked away from everything, died in an automobile crash. He also killed 2 children when he died. High on crack high on liquor, and every other thing. And he'd been robbing stores and stealing from everybody again to support the problem he had. Let me tell you something. It can happen to you, it can happen to you, it can happen to everybody sitting here. It can even happen to your mom and dad. It takes a lot of guts to say no. You know, the officers can tell you about what they do when they arrest a guy. I can tell you what happens to somebody once he's on the other side of those bars for a long time. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing funny. It is the worst kind of life anybody can have. And most of the prisons in this country, contrary to belief, they are infested with rats and mice and bugs, because that's where we put the people who can't get along in society. So if you want to go into prison, be beat up by older people, be violated by older people, have bugs and rats run over you at night while you're sleeping, I suggest you go out on Southfield and get hit by a truck. It's easier and it's cleaner, and everybody, let me tell you one thing, your parents will get over it quicker. If you die because you've got a screwed up lifestyle, your parents will get over it quicker rather than having to come to visit you every week in jail. And remember, they become more of a prisoner than you are. It takes a lot of guts to say no. And whenever you have a problem, as I can see by what's turned out here today with the number of parents in the audience, ladies and men, I mean, it's unbelievable to see so many men at one of these. That means to tell me that they care about you. They care what you're going to do with your life, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure whatever problems you have in life, they're there to help. My mom and dad told me one thing a long time ago. If you think it's wrong and it feels too good, it must be wrong. If you ask yourself one question before you do something, would my mom and dad say it's okay? You'll never screw up. And there's so much opportunity to screw up. The police department's there to help you, but more importantly, your mom and dad, your brothers and sisters hopefully, and your teachers at school. Believe me, they'll listen. If they have allowed you to go through this program, a 17-week program, you have committed already in your life some of the things that you want to do in the future. Don't let the other things get the best side of you. In the beginning, it looks glamorous. It looks terrific. It looks like that's the way to go. Take it from me, after spending 30 months in jail, it is not the best way or the right way to go. I wish you all of the best. It's not easy. Something else too quickly. Learn how to read. Learn how to write. 75% of the men that I met in jail, 75%, and I met thousands, couldn't read, couldn't write. Who knows who screwed up? Was it the mom and dad? Was it the school? Was it them? They also have to share the responsibility. Bottom line, if you can read, you can write, you get at least a high school diploma, you got a chance. You really have a chance. Not everybody will be a Donald Trump. Who the hell needs Donald Trump? I wish you all the best, and all of our prayers will be with you. Thank you.
From the Detroit Police Community Service Division, the Commanding Officer, Commander Dorothy Knox.
Good morning. Apologize for being a little late. Went to the wrong school, to tell you that. I'd like to thank Officer Joe Capture, the parents, especially the students, principal, teachers, the other school staff here for having the D.A.R.E program. I think it's one of the finest programs that we in crime prevention in the Detroit Police Department have ever come across. And I think you think so too. I see the letters that you write back to the officers, that the teachers give you as assignments, that you say that you believe that the D.A.R.E program is an important one. The reason it's so important is it teaches values to the students. And we know that your parents tell you when you come to school what to do and what not to do. They teach you the difference between right and wrong. But sometimes you forget it when you get with your friends. So it's so important that we have that reinforced all the time. And the D.A.R.E program allows us to provide this kind of training around substance abuse. You've learned a lot today, and I didn't come here to make a long speech, but I wanted you to know that the police department thinks that the D.A.R.E program is very important, more important than any program, as I said, that we've seen in a long time. So congratulations to all of you. Do not forget what you've learned today, and teach somebody else what you've learned, okay?
Our D.A.R.E essay contest winners, John Tatum, John Jocks, Sarah Hobson, Nicole Kazarowski, and Edward Prince will now share their views with us.
What I liked or didn't like about D.A.R.E. What I liked about the drug abuse resistance education was that I learned a lot about drugs that I didn't know before I had D.A.R.E., such as downers, which are drugs that make your heart beat faster, and PCP and sherms can make people who smoke them act crazy. The truth is that I didn't think drugs were that serious. What I mean is that I really knew that some people started using drugs and alcohol because their friends did, and that using drugs regularly can be habit-forming. But after Officer Capture came and talked to us about drugs, I began to understand that drugs were poison. I'll never in my entire life take drugs. I would be committing suicide if I ever took drugs, because I know that my mom's and dad's hearts and my family's and friends' hearts, including my own, would be crushed. I thank Ms. Rivers, my teacher, my family and friends, and especially Officer Capture. Officer Capture's mission is accomplished for me. I really enjoyed all the lessons we had on D.A.R.E. I learned a lot about drugs and alcohol from Officer Capture. I know that there are a variety of drugs. Downers are one type of drugs, or cocaine, PCP, uppers, marijuana, and so forth. I know that once you start using drugs of any kind, it can be a habit form. Drugs can do a great deal of harm to you. It can give you hallucinations, seeing things that are not there. It can make you feel things to enjoy. Even medicine from the doctor can be a habit form. Some can put you to sleep or make you unconscious. It can also kill you. I didn't understand the importance of drugs. All I knew was not to take anything from strangers or people I knew without going to my parents about it, especially candy. This program has strengthened my knowledge on the subject of drugs, alcohol, and even smoking. No one in my house won't smoke or drink, so I'm not exposed to it like a lot of kids I know. This program has helped me so much that if someone offered me drugs, alcohol, or candy, I would definitely say no, even if it's a close relative or friend. No amount of money is worth selling drugs for. I'm glad we don't have this problem in my family. I believe this course should be given to all kids, especially teenagers in all the schools. Maybe this will help stop a lot of crime in our city of Detroit. I thought D.A.R.E. was very exciting. You taught us to say no to drugs and to be loving and respect our bodies and our friends. It takes more guts to say no, and you are more cool to take care of your body and your mind. Only a weak person would give in to drugs. You have shown us how to be big and strong. strong and how easy it is to say no to drugs. I thought officer capture was great. You taught us to say no to peer pressure. You taught us about self-esteem, how I can be proud about a drug-free body. I like your undercover stories and your cop stories and the movies you brought in. Thank you for taking the time for teaching us about drug abuse. Thank you for teaching me what crack will do to my body. We appreciate that you care enough about us kids to want to help us become good and strong people. We hope we can keep you proud of us and stay drug-free for the rest of our lives.
What I liked about D.A.R.E is how it taught me about different drugs. D.A.R.E taught me about how harmful drugs are to your mind and body. D.A.R.E is important. Without it, kids wouldn't know about the bad things drugs do, and they might use drugs because of this. I liked when the people from Cody High School came to our school to talk to us about drugs. There wasn't any part of D.A.R.E that I disliked. D.A.R.E will help me say no to drugs. In D.A.R.E I learned the different ways to say no to drugs. In D.A.R.E I learned about response styles and self-esteem. Now I can say no. Thank you and congratulations. At this time, I'm happy to introduce our D.A.R.E instructor, Officer Joseph Saxon.
Okay, 17 weeks closed, ended, huh? And it went faster. And it went a lot faster than we all thought. First of all, I'd like to introduce somebody to you here on the stage. Sergeant Robert Miller is with the Detroit Police Department Crime Prevention Section. Sergeant Miller has been named the coordinator of the D.A.R.E program in the city of Detroit. Although Sergeant Miller at the time has not yet taught a D.A.R.E class, he has gone through the training in Lansing, and I imagine will soon be getting his feet wet. I would like to introduce at this time Sergeant Robert Miller.
Thank you. There's been a lot said. I know you've heard a lot. I just want to leave one thing with you. If you can love yourself, and I know Officer Captor's given you a lot of things to think about. If you can love yourself, saying no to drugs is going to be a snap. So I dare you to stay off drugs.
A lady who I haven't met yet, but I'm looking forward to working with closely in the next couple of months. We are in a process of getting a couple of projects together for the D.A.R.E school in regards to a drug-free program and saying no to drugs. I'd like to introduce Ms. Ann Hoyt from McDonald's Corporation.
Hi, a lot of you've met me before because we're your partners in education from McDonald's here. And we are delighted to participate in the D.A.R.E program with you. You're going to be receiving letters to take home sometime this week for all of your parents to read, encouraging you to watch a special on April the 21st, which McDonald's Corporation and Ronald McDonald's Children's Charity is sponsoring. And we're delighted to work with you in continuation with our partnership and in continuation with our support of keeping kids off drugs in Detroit. Thanks.
First of all, I'd like to thank Dennis McLean for coming to talk to us. I know he's got a pretty busy schedule. We're going to hold him captive for a little bit yet because we want him to be here when the certificates are being passed out, culmination certificates. I'm glad to see so many parents here. I would just like to say to the parents, thank you so much for your your support in the program. However, I would ask that you don't stop now just because the program's over. Summertime is coming. Time for peer pressure is going to be greater because of the fact that your children will have so much more free time now. A lot of their time is not going to be supervised. So they are going to be needing your support during the summer months. They've learned 8 different ways to say no during the past 17 weeks, and they've learned about the dangers of advertising techniques that might entrap them. Please, if you get a chance, take a look at their workbooks, go through the workbooks, learn about some of the information that they've absorbed in the last 17 weeks, and please try to give them a hand. To the students, I would just like to say this. We've talked a lot about self-esteem. We've talked a lot about decision-making, risk-taking. We've talked about the fact that you can do almost anything if you want to do, but you're going to have to do it yourself. No one can do it for you. You have to do it yourself. You have support systems. You have people who are caring and willing to help, but willing to help and doing it are 2 different things. Nobody can do anything for you. You have to do it for yourself. I would also like to thank the students because of the fact, unknowingly rather, they have been a support and a comfort to me. There are some things going on in my personal life that I needed some support for. And unknowingly, you have contributed to that support, and I thank you for it. In closing, my portion of it in closing, we came across a poem that I'd like to read, not only for the children, but for the parents, and I consider it to be rather profound. It's a poem by Dorothy Nolte, and it goes like this. If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice. If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to love in the world.
The D.A.R.E song will now be sung by the D.A.R.E program participants.
Officer Capture, as well as our conference teachers, Mr. Scott and Mrs. Rivers, will present the culmination certificates.
Mr. Scott. What I'd like to do, take a moment before we present the certificates, being that we got Mr. Scott and Mrs. Rivers up on stage, Dr. Solari and Mrs. Phipps. Commander, if you would please, I'd like to read the presentation of the crime prevention citations for these people and have you present them. The crime prevention citation is going to be given to Dr. Robert Solari, Mrs. Ivanetta Rivers, Mr. John Scott, and Mrs. Wilhelmina Phipps for their participation in the drug program. These citations are given by the Chief of Police, William L. Hart. They read as this. The Chief of Police presents a crime prevention citation to Dr. Robert Solari, Ivanetta Rivers, John Scott, and Wilhelmina Phipps for actively participating in crime prevention efforts and displaying outstanding achievements in those regards, aiding the community and police department in its endeavors to reduce crime. Commander Knox.
On behalf of the Police Department and Chief Hart, as Officer Capture says, to Mr. Robert Solari, thank you very much. Ivanetta Rivers. Mr. John Scott.
Yes.
This is where you get the work stuff.
Get that.
All right, thank you very much. Wesley Adcock. Tara Benson. Eric O'Brien. Patrick Burns. Adrian Curry. Gina Diabo. Jennifer Garolick. Nicole Hartford. Christina Heidi. Robert Jones. Joseph Langan. Jennifer Lyle. Mark Lidwalk. James Martinez. Charlie Wallace. Heather Powers, Dana Rankin,
Smile, guys.
Bianca Richardson, Tamara Robinson, Michael Sanders, John Tatum, Jason Swayson, Swayson. Shannon Tuzano, Chabelle Williams, Ryan Zager, Stephen Zamron, Shelley Zub. Section 7, be seated. Section 8, will you please stand? Bradley Alvin, Jennifer Archer, Kevin Bishop, Jason Caldwell, Monica Caruso, Christy Clore, Nikisha Craig, Keith DePriest, Robert Dotson, Marcy Estrada, Michael Vilas, Richard Garcia, Giovanna Griffin, Jessica Guerrero, Marvin Hotchkiss, Rebecca Hudson, John Jocks, Lisa Johnson, Mario Johnson, William Kinsman, Heather Kustra, Abel Lopez, Gary Lyle, LaWanda Mackey, Susan Martinez. Cecil McNeil. Colanda Ravenel. Jennifer Bednowski. Brian Skillen. Brenda Stowell. Randy Tarter. Jason Taylor. Jennifer Thomas. Section 8, be seated.
Will Section 9 stand, please? David Adamson. Oh, you got the fifth graders first? You have the fifth graders first. They're in alphabetical order. Just give me the fifth graders first, and then I'll give it to you. Okay. John Ollie. Angela Barnes. Robert Brewster. Lamar Brooks. Victoria Cadoti. Joshua Conley. Kimberly Cooper. Michael Cuevas. Tina Freeman. Angela Hazen. Sarah Hobson. Christopher Kinser. Don Kuka. Laura Close. Renee Matchin. Wendy Molder. Martin O'Similak. Christopher Polite. Tim Seguin. Todd Kucharski. Lamar Tinsley, Joseph Wells.
Nice going.
Turn around.
Nice going.
Section 9, you may be seated. Section 10, please stand. Ronald Adamson, Michael Archer, Cynthia Ayers, Michael Beatty, Marie Bondi,
Thank you, sir.
Valerie Bowman, Christopher Chalk, Janine Conley, Joseph Cottrell, Tabitha Cross, Michelle D'Agostino, John Daw, Amber Garcia, Carrie Girardin, Daryl Green, Zafir Hassan, Nicole Kazarowski, Julie Creighton, Angela Puka, Belen Lopez, Jimmy Lukashevitz, Vicky Masuga, Angelica McCoy, Jennifer O'Connor, Vincent Ponce, Thomas Ritter, Frank Stark, Joshua Tackett, Brandy Welch, and Philip Williams. Section 10 may be seated. Would Timothy Sequin come to the stage, please? We have a little surprise for Officer Capture.
thank you for teaching us the dangers of drugs. The kids at Carver Elementary would like to present this gift to you.
Thank you. I suppose that means it's got to be open now too, right? Yeah. You did a good job wrapping it. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is nice. Thank you. I need this, really. Thanks a lot. I'd like to say it's been my pleasure working with all of you. Really, it has. I told you once before that I was here for you. I'm going to be here for you. You guys have my phone number. If you need somebody to talk to, and I told you, I'll be here for you. I'll try and help you all I can. You have my phone number. If you need somebody to talk to, give me a call at the office. If I'm not there, leave a message. I will get back to you. I don't want none of you guys running away before I leave here today, because I have some presents for you also, okay? I was supposed to be a surprise. I'm a little disappointed. Somebody was supposed to be on their way here. I have a present for Dennis, okay? But it hasn't arrived, so he's going to have to take my word for it. And I'll deliver it to the station. It's a baseball style cap, and it has the D.A.R.E logo that Jennifer, you're wearing. Yeah, Jennifer, stand up. Yes. Okay. It has a D.A.R.E logo on the front of it, Dennis. It's just like that, but it's a baseball cap. So we have that for you. Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it very much.
Will the meeting of Fibs, will you please close our program with a benediction?
Shall we pray briefly for a moment? Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for Officer Capture. We thank you for the dedication that he has shown to our students here at Carver School. We thank you for the people who have shown love to our students today. They've taken time out of their busy schedules. We want them to know that we appreciate that. We thank you for putting it on their hearts to do that for our students. We thank you for allowing the parents to come to show the students support. And we ask you to just instill in their minds that they have to continue this information with the students to lead them in the right path. We thank you for the teachers who've been involved. And we're asking you to let the teachers know that they're working for you. Let the parents know that whatever they do for the children, that they're working for you. They're on a mission for you. We're asking you to bless the boys and girls here at Carver School in such a way that they will soar in everything that they attempt to do, above the mountain tops, up where the eagles fly. And we just thank you for all the blessings that you've shown here at Carver School. We thank you for making this a special school. And now, may the love of God surround you, may the joy of God succumb you, and may the peace of God go with you. We ask all these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
There are refreshments in the gym.
So there is a reception in the gym, and the parents are invited to attend also. Thank you.
I'm not in this school. So. David?
Thank you. Stand at the front of the back.
Okay. Ronan?
No, what?
Who's that?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, picture for 2 kids.
Well, that's very nice.
All the kids have put pictures
Here,
in
I
it
can
for
hold
you.
it for you.
Can you talk while you're dressing?
I can do anything when I'm dressing.
Hey, you made a good subject with the kids at the end of the line. That was nice. Lots of good shots. The parents will love it. We appreciate you.
Is that wide enough for him and I?
Oh, good. Surely. This will be nice. Thank you. We appreciate this. Very good.
Good luck to you guys.
Thank you for
Anything I can do, let me know. You hear?
All right,
please.
But they better let me talk to you.
You tell them.
Okay, tell them.
Thank you, Maria.
Nice seeing you.
Dennis, thanks. I'm going to drop that hat off tomorrow. Okay. Thanks a lot, buddy. It's in the mail, right? No, I'll drop it tomorrow.
And fade out.
That's very cool.
Can I get some? Hi.
You have to get mine out there. Down the street, and she was looking to see Danny McLean to talk to him about the letter she received from him while he was in prison.
Yes.
Did you get to hear that part of the speech about being down, his stay in prison?
Yes, yeah, I was here. Yeah. It was great. He said hi, and that was all I got from him.
Yeah, well, everyone wanted a hi and an autograph.
Right. Well, I got a whole letter from him, so
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, it was nice of him to come. Yeah.
Yes. What are you doing? That's enough, Diane.
For you turkeys. Oh, excuse that, but we were to have media coverage. They didn't make it, but I did. I'm showing you now some of the posters.
Sound system that would blow this gym all apart.
I would like to have something done with our sound system.
Huh? I got that 100 amp Logan and set him up with a
No,
garage.
he's not. He's gone, isn't he?
Mr. McLean? Oh, yes.
He's gone. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right now. Okay, what is it? Read it then. Dare to keep...
Dare to keep a kid off drugs. And then this one right there says, the number one killer of teenager is drunk.
Driving.
All right. Just say no. Just say no to drugs. Don't lose a friend to drugs. Be smart.
Be smart, and when you're drinking, you're not thinking.
Right.
Ah, I like those slogans. Let's go down to the orange one.
This one?
Yeah, can you tell who it's by? Nope.
Nope.
Dare to keep a kid off drugs.
Dare to keep That's from me, Gary, and Jason Taylor.
Oh, right. Taylor Pooh. Okay, let's
Dare
go
to keep a kid off drugs.
Let's go to the green one. What's on that one? I'm going to face.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, here we go.
I think this is from Joshua.
Okay.
Drug abuse resistance. What's that? Education or drug. This is Joshua. Are really evil.
Evil. Okay.
And choose your life. Bad life is when you steal or take money. And good life, go to the store, have fun.
Okay. You don't need drugs to be popular, it says in this corner, and don't take this or this, that's beer and or cigarettes. Take this, get life. Okay.
I baby the needle.
Oh.
And this is by Mike.
All right,
Section 10.
This is Mike's poster. Okay, let's go off.
Say no to drugs. Drugs are deathly.
All right, and
Wait, two is on the floor.
oh, okay, let me have this one too. There. Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's good.
Drug abuse, distance, and education.
That's enough from that poster. Who did it say who it's by? No. And then the one on the wall. Vicky. All right, Vicky. Yay. This guy here did some good artwork, so we'll take some pictures.
Dare. Make the choice. The choice of life. Drugs. And this is brain.
Okay, what'd you find on the floor? One fell down. All right, let's come down to the green one.
Help break the drug abuse.
Help break the drug habit, right?
Right. And this is drugs crossed out.
All right, let's see. Don't.
Dare to keep a kid off drugs. Drugs. I can't read with that.
Okay, what's down there in front of you there?
Yellow one?
And who's this one by? Yeah. Dare to keep a kid off drugs again, right?
Yeah. Kids, stay away from it. Dare to keep kids off drugs. Don't use drugs. And
I like this one saying, someone got greedy and killed him for his crack and his money.
yeah. Give me one right. Drug-free are things. Say no. They ruin your life. Be smart. Don't start. Don't be like.
Don't be like thugs. Stay off drugs.
Have a drug-free body. Peace. Beer, that's a beer. Beer, look away. Don't burn your mind on drugs. Just say no. Something else on the back. Dare to keep a kid off drugs.
And that one's by Jennifer. Let's do this little one down here.
This one?
I'll just take a quick picture of that one. And go over to this one here.
Top one?
Yeah, pretty colors.
If you say yes to drugs, you're really saying
no to life.
Dare to keep a kid off drugs. And mine is a terrible thing to waste. Dare. Drugs area, real death trap. There are many kids that die by
the age of 15.
Age of 15. Drugs, they kill more than your life, your future.
They kill your future, yes. All right, this one here is...
Say no. Just say no. Dare to keep a kid off drugs. Don't be a dope. You're wasting your life. Don't use drugs. Dope is crack. Dope can be dope.
That's a color in a poster and says, don't get twisted up in drugs.
Which one?
By Sarah Hobinson.
By Sarah Hobinson, all right. Well, we have another poster with lots of things on it. One of the things I see on it says, drugs stink.
Not yet.
It says, be cool and stay off drugs.
a ticking time bomb. Make the right choice. Drugs add up to zip. Stay off drugs. Don't set off the bomb of death.
Oh, let's have one.
Nice pretty on that one.
Yeah.
Symphony orchestra like a middle school would have. Sing after school all year and doing more advanced songs than the regular classes do. And we'd like to show you right now some of the things that we've worked on this year. We did a unit on Walt Disney music, so we're going to play Hi-Ho. After that, of course, Tumble Fingers. Then we did a unit of jazz and blues music, and we're going to play Summertime for Porgy and Bess, and we study musicals and plays. And then we're playing, excuse me, we studied a unit on classical music, so we're doing Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring, a very famous melody you'll probably recognize, written by Johann Sebastian Bach. And the last thing we're going to do is some down-home country fiddle music for you, called Bluegrass Fiddle.
good teacher had good students. As a matter of fact, this came to my mind while we were playing. One particular student, and it's at Carver, but she isn't here tonight in this class, told me her mother yelled at her every time she practiced. And I started to feel really sorry for her, and so then I questioned her some more, and I said, well, when do you practice? And she said,